of any information before circulating it in order to curb the spread of misinformation. The ministry stated that only communication from the federal government, the Federal Ministry of Education, state government, and recognized security agencies should be considered authentic. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the old newspaper with the headline: "We didn't order nationwide closures of schools," says federal government.
Still talking education and talking schools, we have this one from Bauchi and it's from the Punch. It says Bauchi shut all schools over security concerns. Now the details. The Bauchi state government has announced the immediate closure of all schools across the state following heightened security concerns. The directive affected all primary, secondary and tertiary institutions, including the federal government-owned and private schools operating within the state. The announcement was contained in a statement issued on Sunday by the Information and Public Relations Officer of the State Ministry of Education, Jalaluddin Usman. According to him, the decision was reached after extensive consultation and in response of what he described as overwhelming security concern affecting the safety of students, teachers, and schools community across the state. He said, and I quote, "The decision, though difficult, was taken by the government of Bauchi State after extensive consultation and in response to overwhelming security concern. The government is fully aware of the inconvenience that this may cause. However, the protection of our children remains our highest moral responsibility. Every student in Bauchi State deserves to learn in an environment that is safe, stable, and free of fear." Usman urged parents, guardians, school proprietors, and other stakeholders to remain calm, adding that efforts were ongoing to address the situation. The government is working closely with security agencies to address the concerns swiftly and comprehensively, assuring that normal academic activities resume as soon as it is safe to do so. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: Bauchi shut all schools over security concerns.
I take a flight to join you on the Punch newspaper, talking insecurity and still talking shutting of schools. Kebbi shuts primary, secondary schools. And now to the details. The Kebbi State Governor has ordered the immediate closure of all public and private secondary schools across the state, following rising security threats, marking one of the most sweeping shutdowns of education sector in recent years. It was stated that the directive also affects all state-owned tertiary institutions, with the exception of College of Nursing Science, Burnham Kebbi. The announcement was contained in a joint statement issued recently in Burnham Kebbi by the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Alima Bande, and the Commissioner for Higher Education, Isa Abubakar Tunga. Bande said the decision was taken to safeguard students and staff amid of recent disturbing cases of attacks in parts of the state. He also stated, and I quote, "Our priority at this critical moment is the safety of our children. The closure of all secondary schools, public and private, is a precaution we cannot ignore, given the emerging security realities. The shutdown affects hundreds of secondary schools, including government day schools, boarding schools, private-owned institutions across all 21 local government areas. Many parents had already expressed anxiety following recent attacks on communities and abductions of schoolgirls in Maga." Abubakar Tunga explained that the state government was acting on security recommendations. He further said, and I quote, "We cannot expose students to avoidable risk. All administrators of affected institutions must ensure immediate compliance. We will announce a new resumption date on the security situation once the security situation improves." If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline: Kebbi Short Primary Secondary Schools.
Still taking stories from the Punch and still on security concerns, we have this one: 38 abducted Kwara church worshippers regain freedom. And now the details. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak has announced the release of 38 persons who were recently abducted during an attack on Christ Apostolic Church in Eruku Ikiti local government area of the state. This was disclosed in a statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Rafiu Ajalike, on Sunday, after many days of hard work by security forces and government representatives. Abdurrahman Abdulrazak is excited to announce the freedom of 38 persons who were recently abducted in the attack on Christ Apostolic Church, CAC, Eruku Ekiti local government area of Kwara State. The governor credited President Bola Tinubu for his hand-on involvement in ensuring the victims regained their freedom. It recalled that the president had postponed his scheduled trip to the G20 meeting in South Africa to personally oversee security measures in Kwara and Kebbi State. Abdurrahman further thanked federal security agencies and local forces involved in the operation. Finally, the governor thanked other stakeholders whose support aided in ensuring the abductees' safe return. Also confirming the release to Punch Online, the Secretary of CAC, OK Shagun Michael Agbabiaka, told our correspondent that the Department of State Service contacted the community around 4 p.m. to inform them that the captive had been freed. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: 38 abducted Kwara church worshippers regain freedom.
Yes, and on the Daily Post newspaper, government knows those responsible for killings in Nigeria, says Cardinal Onyayeki. And now to the details. Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja Catholic Archdiocese, John Cardinal Onyeyakin, has said that the government is aware of who is responsible for killings in Nigeria. Cardinal John made the statement recently in an interview on Arise television monitored by newsmen. It was reacting to the recent waves of killings and abductions in parts of the country. The Archbishop Emeritus said that nobody can counteract the fact that Nigerians have been killed. He also stated, and I quote, the federal government must shift away from its defensive approach of denying the downplaying allegation of mass killings in Nigeria. The persistent denial fails to reflect the sentiment of millions whose lives who live in perpetual fear and those who suffer tremendously in the hands of insurgents. The government is aware of who is responsible for these killings. Instead of fixating on 2027, it should concentrate on ensuring the safety and survival of its citizens. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Government knows those responsible for killings in Nigeria, says Cardinal John.
Still taking headlines and stories from the Punch, where we have police ban fireworks in Imo and Plateau State. Now the details. The Imo and Plateau State Police Command has announced a total ban on the sale, distribution and use of fireworks and knockouts as the Christmas and New Year celebration approach. Both commands said the measure is aimed at preventing injuries, fire and disturbance during the festive period. In a statement posted on X, signed by the State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Okoye Henry on Sunday, the Imo State Police Command said it has reiterated the total ban on sale, distribution and use of fireworks, knockouts and all forms of arms across the state. It added that the ban is crucial for public safety and the violators will be arrested and prosecuted. The command warned that anyone found selling, possessing and using them, whether during public holidays, community events or even private celebration, will be arrested and prosecuted. The Commissioner of Police, Imo State Commander CP Aboki Danjuma, urged residents to cooperate with security operatives and report illegal activities involving fireworks, appreciating the continuous support of the public in maintaining peace and safety. The command also assured all that enhanced security measures have been put in place for a safe and peaceful celebration. Similarly, the Plateau State Command on Saturday announced a statewide ban on the sales and use of knockout and fireworks. In a statement by the police public relations officer, XP Alfred Alabo, the command said the decision was taken in the interest of public safety and security ahead of the festive celebration. The command noted that fireworks often create panic and disturb public peace. It warned that anyone found violating this order by selling, using, or in possession of knockout articles and fireworks will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the law. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: Police ban fireworks in Imo and Plateau states.
Yes, though on the Punch newspaper talking education, federal government meets ASU today to avert strike. And now to the details. The federal government, through Yayale Ahmed Renegotiation Committee, has convened meetings for today, November 24, 2025, and tomorrow, November 25, 2025, in a bid to avert the looming strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. A nationwide executive council meeting of the union is expected to be convened by its leadership. Depending on the outcome of the meeting, the ASUNEC will decide whether or not to embark on a strike. A highly placed member of the NEC made this known in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. The NEC member, who spoke on condition of anonymity, blamed the federal government for allegedly adopting delay tactics. He stated, and I quote, "They have convened a meeting for Monday and Tuesday. I believe it's delay tactics. They are trying to delay us from taking actions. After the meeting, we will hold a meeting with NEC to decide the next line of actions." Recent reports that the ultimatum given by ASU expired on Saturday. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline: Federal Government met ASU today to avert strike.
Still talking education, and this is from Edo State, where we have 25 Edo schools recovered from land grabbers, says Commissioner. Now the details. The Edo State Commissioner for Education, Dr. Padi Iyamu, says the state has recovered 25 schools from land grabbers since Governor Monday Okpebolo assumed office in November 2024. Speaking with journalists in Benin City on Sunday, Iyamu also disclosed that 68 schools had been renovated, creating a more conducive learning environment for students. He dismissed claims that the figures were exaggerated, urging critics to visit the school and verify the information, which he said is documented in the ministry. According to him, improvement in public schools have triggered a notable shift, with over 1,000 students transferring from private to public schools in the last academic year. He attributed this to the government's policy for free education, both the primary and secondary level. Iyamu said the government had conducted plans to build additional schools across the state to accommodate increasing enrollment. Citing example, the commissioner said Army Day Secondary School, which previously had about 502 students and about 350, and Iyosa once considered that school, now collectively hosts over 3,000 students. Iyamu further disclosed that 4,000 contract teachers employed for 3 years have been 3 years by previous administration, as well 1,000 community engaged teachers, but now have been fully offered employment. For details of that story, see the Punch newspaper with this headline: 25 Edo schools recovered from land grabbers, says Commissioner.
For comment and contribution, you can reach out to us on the studio line on 0816 552 4699. The number is again 0816 552 4699. 99. You can also reach out to us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at iPower1027 FM and on X at iPower1027. Back to the Punch newspaper. Federal High Court debunks claim of assassination attempt on Justice Omotosho. And now to the details. The Federal High Court says the report that Justice James Omotosho survived an assassination attempt following the life sentence imposed on Nnamdi Kanu is fake news. The news agency of Nigeria reports that a blogger had reportedly on his Facebook page that Justice Omotosho survived an assassination attempt on Saturday morning, just days after handing down the life sentence to Kanu. According to the reports, Justice Omotosho was immediately rushed to the hospital as security forces scrambled to secure the area. But reacting, the Chief Registrar of the FHC, Suleiman Azan, in a statement made available to newsmen, said the report was untrue. The statement is titled "Rebuttal of the False Publication by Celebrity Blogger on the alleged assassination attempt of Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court." It reads in our court, the attention of the Federal High Court has been drawn to a publication by the celebrity blogger alleging the Honorable Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, survived an assassination attempt following the life sentence imposed on Nnamdi Kanu. We hereby firmly and unequivocally declare that the said report is completely false and unfounded. If that story aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, "Report on Federal High Court debunks claim of assassination attempt on Justice Omotosho."
We have this one lastly from The Guardian, and it says last man wants religious body, others against obstruction of access corridors. Now the details. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority has cautioned residents, community custodians, religious body, party conveners and organizers of diverse socio-cultural activities against indiscriminatory obstruction of access road before, during and after events slated for the rapidly approaching festive season across the state. The agency lamented the persistent and worrisome tendency of celebrants, worship centers, event planners and associated groups to annex crucial road corridors, thereby disrupting unhindered traffic circulation and subjecting law-abiding motorists to needless gridlocks, safety risks and severe inconveniences. Last man stressed that all roadway, whether truck routes or inner streets, constitute public access and must not under any circumstances be commanded for private activities or religious congregations. Similarly, proprietors of event centers, large clubs and recreational establishments, especially those operating within high traffic routes such as Ikoyi, Victoria Island, Lekki, Shango-Tedo, and the contagious environment, have been instructed to provide adequate, well-coordinated parking arrangements for their clients. Facilities whose patron habitual split vehicles on major routes, standing liable to rigorous enforcement measures, every sanction and potential closure as mandated by the operative. For details of that story, see the Guardian newspaper with its headline, LASMA wants religious bodies and others against obstruction of access corridors.
The number to call for comments and contribution is 0816-552-4699. The number again, 0816-552-4699. Right about now, we will take a short break. When we get back, we'll give you a recap of the stories that had earlier been read out to you. It's glad to have you back. The program is still in the papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the list of our stories read out to you this morning, we informed you on the Oak newspaper that past state police bill, Ondo APC urges NAS.
We also informed you from the Hope that optimism as 50 among the 303 abducted Niger school children escape.
Still talking insecurity on the Earth newspaper, Ondo CP embarks on oversight functions.
Still taking stories, we informed you from the Hope that we cut 2025 budget by 209 billion naira to be realistic, says Ondo Assembly.
Still on the old newspaper, Oshun APC slams Adeleke over foreign trip, security neglect.
We also informed you from the Punch that Tinubu pulls out 100 policemen from VIPs.
We informed you on the old newspaper, still talking abductions. We didn't order nationwide closure of schools, says federal government.
Still talking abduction, 38 abducted Kwara church worshippers regained freedom, and that was from the Punch.
On the Punch newspaper, talking education, federal government meets ASU today to avert strike.
Still taking headlines from the Punch, we informed you that police banned fireworks in Imo and Plateau State.
On the Punch newspaper, talking insecurity, we informed you that Kebbi a short primary secondary schools.
And we informed you similarly that police arrest 3 kidnappers after Adamawa school's closure.
Finally, on the Punch newspaper, we told you that the Federal High Court has debunked claims of assassination attempts on Justice Omotosho.
We also informed you that Bauchi shut all schools over security concerns.
And with that, we've come to a wrap on today's edition of In the Papers. We've taken you through major headlines from newspapers within and outside Nigeria, and we hope this review has kept you informed on key issues shaping conversations today. Do stay tuned for more updates and programs coming your way shortly. On behalf of myself, Inioluwa Adekoya, and my colleague,
Florence Ibarima,
many thanks to you for joining us. Until next time, have a productive and pleasant day.
good morning.